Welcome to the Sovereign CEO podcast, where we talk about how to set up your location-independent business, move to a less bad country, or at least set up an international backup plan, and do all those things for very little money. Today, let's talk about marketing, which is the most important function of your business. If you are at all familiar with my content, you have heard me say that about 14 million times, that the most important aspect of your business, the most important activity in your business once it is set up, is marketing. If you don't market, you will not make any money and you will go out of business. It doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how amazing the thing is that you're selling. It doesn't matter. Nothing else fucking matters. All that matters is marketing. Yes, of course, the quality of the item that you are selling is also very important, but that quality is not relevant if no one is buying it because you're not marketing. I have been a professional consultant for over 25 years. I've worked with literally hundreds of companies. And I can tell you for a fact, the number one reason that companies go out of business is not because they're selling something that's bad. That's usually not the case. Most companies I've seen go out of business or have severe financial trouble, most entrepreneurs who fail are selling something that's pretty good, that's actually very valuable, very helpful, that people should buy. The reason they go out of business is because they don't market. And it's for one of many reasons. They think they can't market, they don't know how, or they think they're too good for marketing because they went to college. I don't do cold calls. I have a master's degree. Or because they think incorrectly that marketing costs a lot of money, which it does. I'm going to talk about that in a second, for various reasons. You got to market. And in this podcast, I'm going to cover the basics on how to get started with your marketing and the options you have with your marketing in terms of the best marketing techniques to do right now in the 2020s, specifically for your own location-independent Alpha 2.0 business. I'm not talking here about a traditional business. I do not teach a traditional business model. The traditional business model sucks. And again, I've worked with hundreds of companies. Most people who own traditional businesses are not happy campers. These are not happy guys with a lot of freedom. These are stressed out, pissed off guys who work long hours and are furious because they're dicky with all these employee problems. That's not where you want to be. You want a location-independent Alpha 2.0 business with no employees, helpers, but no employees, that you completely control, that sells to a very narrow niche, that only sells high margin products, services, or information. That's what you want. That's where the money is. That's where the happiness is. That's where the freedom is. All right. With all that context, here's this works in terms of marketing. You have two fundamental options when you're figuring out how to market your business. Number one is paid marketing, and number two is free marketing. And they both work. Now, there are pros and cons to each one of these things. Okay. So paid marketing, the problem with paid marketing, it costs money. So if you have no money, you really can't do it unless you borrow the money, and that's kind of scary. So that's the problem with paid marketing, is that it costs money. The good news about paid marketing is that, generally speaking, there are exceptions, it brings in money very quickly, very fast. You get clients and customers really, really quick. And I talk about how you can hit your income goals much faster if you're willing to spend money on marketing. You don't have to wait as long. Okay, that's the beauty of paid marketing, but it does cost money, and that's an issue. Also, it's more risky. If you do it wrong, you're out a bunch of money. Whereas you do free marketing wrong, you're not out any money, you're just out a little time. Okay. Then, of course, you had free marketing, and it's basically the opposite of paid marketing. The advantage of free marketing is that it's free. You don't need any marketing at all. I started my first business with free marketing. I started this business, Sovereign CEO, which is a multi-six-figure income stream for me for $29. And I used nothing but free marketing for many, many, many years. I was making well into the six figures of this company before I even spent one penny on marketing. So free marketing works. However, the disadvantage is, generally speaking, and there are exceptions, it takes longer. You're gonna have to be more patient. It might be a year and a half before you start generating real money if all you do is free marketing all by yourself. Now, if you use something like the 90-day business builder, which we have in my company, you can shave that down to like 3 months instead of waiting a year and a half. But you get my point. It's gonna take longer, generally speaking, if you're doing nothing but free marketing. But anyone can do it because it doesn't cost anything. They're both valid models and they both work. You need to pick the one that you're most comfortable with or that fits your budget. Now, first let's talk about paid marketing. What is the best paid marketing to do right now in 2020 for a location-independent business? There are lots of ways to do this. The best way right now, and this will change. So 3 years ago, this was a different answer, and 3 years from now, it'll be a different answer. This stuff constantly changes, but right now, it is YouTube ads, okay? Something that is almost as good as YouTube ads or TikTok ads Instagram ads are okay. Facebook ads are okay. Now, 3, 4, 5 years ago, the best way and the best place to spend your money on ads on the internet was Facebook. Facebook was the shit. It was awesome several years ago. Now, it can work, but it's not nearly as good as YouTube. Now, the downside of YouTube is you got to be on video like me. And I know there's a lot of you out there go, oh, I don't want to be on video. Ugh. Here's the bottom line for all marketing. And I've talked about this before, and I talked about this specifically when I moved from a blogging social media model to a video social media model about 3 years ago. I said, and I was right, video is the number one place where you get the most traffic. That's just the reality of the world we live in. We live in the collapsing Western world where people are getting dumber every year and they don't like to read books anymore and they like to watch stuff. So blogging is still effective today, but it was much more effective 10, 15 years ago when people were less stupid and had wider attention spans. Today they're more dumb and they're going to continue to get dumb as the Western world continues to collapse, which means they like to watch stuff. So like it or not, hate it or not, it doesn't matter. The reality doesn't care about your feelings. It's just the facts. Video is where you want to be if you want to get from zero to the money as fast as you can. Can you make a lot of money by not doing video? Yes. There are numerous examples of location-independent entrepreneurs, internet entrepreneurs who started a business and made a lot of money either quickly or eventually and never be on video. Certainly that is the case. But if you want my advice, I'm here to give you the best advice how to get to the zero to the money as quickly as possible. That means you got to be on video. And that means YouTube ads, perhaps TikTok ads. Those are the two best places to be in terms of spending advertising dollars right now. And again, if you listen to this podcast 3 years from now, it will no longer be accurate. It'll be something else. I don't know what it'll be, but I know right now it's YouTube. TikTok is a close second. Instagram and Facebook are okay. And it really depends on the niche, what you're selling, various other factors. Now, the good news about things like Facebook is you don't have to be on video, but like I said, it's not as effective. But you can make money on Facebook ads depending on what you're selling without being on video. It's just not quite as effective, but it can work. There are also various ways to use LinkedIn, specifically LinkedIn Sales Navigator, in terms of paid advertising or paid marketing that are also very effective if you're doing B2B sales. But YouTube is great for B2B as well as B2C. Doesn't really matter, okay? Now, let's switch over to free marketing. What's the best way to do free marketing? Well, you're not going to like this either, but here's the best way to do free marketing when you're getting started, and that is cold calls and or warm calls. And I've told the story 10,000 times, not going to go through the whole story again, but the way I started my first full-time business back when I was 24 years old, sitting in my little office, my little rundown piece of shit, $200 a month rent up office that I didn't even need back then. I didn't know this. And starting my little computer consulting business, 24 years old, not knowing what the hell I was doing, is I made a list of everyone I knew, everyone I'd work with, plus referrals and stuff. I made a list of about 150 names, and I picked up that phone, and I was really scared, and I called them all and said, do you need help with your computers? And I was a beta and a pussy, and it sucked. But guess what? It worked. I got business, and I made money. I was able to pay my bills, stay in business, and I was making a 6-figure income within 3 years, doing lots of things wrong. Cold calls work. They work. Now, cold calls means you're calling someone completely out of the blue, who has no idea who you are. You can also do warm calls, which is kind of what I did. But getting on the phone and offering value and offering to help people, that does work. And of all the free marketing methods, that is the one that works the fastest. So when I said that free marketing, where it takes a while, that's actually not true or as true with cold calls or warm calls. You can actually get some business. If you make 100 phone calls, all right, or 200 phone calls, 300 phone calls, what are the odds you're not going to get any business? What are the odds? Okay. Now that can happen depending on various niches and various factors, but the odds are pretty shitty, right? That you're going to make no money, right? Dan Pena has said you are 2,500 phone calls away from being wealthy. He's right. He's absolutely correct about that. Cold calls work. Now, you can leverage the cold calls by doing something else, and that you can do cold calls for joint ventures. So instead of doing cold calls to get individual customers or clients, you can do cold calls to contact other companies who sell to your niche, but sell something that is complementary and not competing. So they already have the customers that you want, but they're not competing with you. You call the owners of those companies and you say, hey man, let's do a deal. You market my thing to your audience and I'll pay you 10%, 20%, 40%, 70%, depends what you're selling, depends on the margins, depends on a lot of factors. And that way, yes, most people are going to say no. Most people are going to say, who the hell are you? Most people are going to hang up on you. Okay. Most calls are not going to end up with a yes, but getting one yes can make a lot of money for you. And I have made a lot of money on joint ventures throughout my entire business career, including when I was a computer consultant in my 20s. A lot of money because I worked with other business owners who sold something that was complementary to what I was selling to the same niche. And I called them up and I said, let's do a deal. And as I said, I'm going to say this again. When you do cold calls, you're not going to get a hold of most people. You're going to get voicemail. And when you get a hold of most people, the vast majority of those people will say no. And that is normal. You can't get discouraged. I did a blog post several years ago on one of my business blogs where I talked about a quick video done by Barbara Corcoran, who is on Shark Tank. She's the woman who looks kind of like an old lady. She got a facelift. She looks a lot younger now, but she's the oldest woman on that show. She made a lot of money in real estate, multi-gazillionaire. I don't know what her net worth is, something pretty amazing. And she said something that was very interesting. I've heard this before from other people. She said, I have real estate agents in my office. I have hundreds of real estate agents. And I have individual agents who make $30,000 a year. And I have individual agents who make $700,000 a year, working out of the same office, selling to the same market, selling the same thing. And she said that there's one difference between the ones who make a lot of money and the ones who make shit money. And it's not how smart they are. That has nothing to do with it. It is not how educated they are. That has nothing to do with it. There's no correlation. It is also not how hard they work, which I thought was interesting. No correlation at all. We have guys who are busting their ass who make shit for money, and we have guys making shitloads of money who work normal hours. So it's not that. She goes, the one thing is their ability to handle rejection. Their ability to handle rejection. The guys who get rejected and go, okay, and move on and do the next call, make shitloads of money. It's called outcome independence, something I rail on over at my other content, my Alpha Male 2.0 content. Not giving a fuck when you are told no. You've got to have that as a skill set. If you are told no and then you get depressed for a day and you go, God damn it, no one wants my stuff. This is bullshit. You won't make a lot of money, and I'm sorry. But if you can just chill out and not take it personally when you are told no, because you will be told no in all forms of marketing far more often than you're told yes, you can roll with it and you can make a lot of money. Now, in addition to cold calls, you can do things like cold DMs. You can go on Facebook groups. You can go on forums, Reddit forums. It depends what you're doing. So there's other options. They don't work quite as well as cold calls, but those can work in conjunction with cold calls. You can combine all these things. Now, I've just scratched the surface here. There are lots of ways in which you can market. Matter of fact, you can actually go to howtogetclients.io. I have a course there, a video course on how you can get clients and customers for your Alpha 2.0 business. I cover about 17 different ways to market with specific step-by-step instructions on how to do that. You can buy lots of good marketing books. A great marketing book that I recommend for beginners is, Guerrilla Marketing in 30 Days by J. Conrad Levinson. Really good book. There's lots of good books on this. Do your own research. Marketing is not that difficult, and it's the only skill you really need to have to make good money. Certainly the $85,000 a year I recommend, or more. Just don't discount it. And certainly I will be discussing this topic in a lot more future podcasts and videos. I will see you in the next podcast. Have fun. Bye.